Hello and welcome to Bespoke Unit. I'm CP and in this video I'm reviewing Malibu Rum. As per usual, I'll be conducting this review using the Bespoke Unit Liquor Formula, a quantifiable review matrix that you can either use at home for reviewing your own spirits or use as a quick reference if you don't have time to watch the entire video. Just look in the description below where you'll see a link to the full review, which will present you with a full PDF version with a breakdown of this liquor and its characteristics. Technically speaking, Malibu is a liqueur, but some local laws will allow it to be referred to as a flavoured rum. It was first produced in 1982 by Tom Jago of the International Distillers Vintners, and the idea was to simplify the process of making a piña colada cocktail. Production was moved to the West Indies Rum Distillery Limited in Barbados, and then it was purchased by Diageo, before then again being purchased by Palate, and then eventually being purchased by Pernod Ricard. Today, the production is still in Barbados, but interestingly, this bottle says that it was made in Spain, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there. It is made from fermented molasses, and the only supposed ingredients in here are water, Caribbean rum, sugar, and coconut flavour. The ABV can be 21%, but this particular bottle is 18%. Now, with all that said, let's jump into the review. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the Robe. So we're looking here at a clear liquid. It does seem quite oily. Bubbles or little air pockets can produce quite easily, which is probably due to the syrupy sugar content. Its clarity is quite overall quite clear. It does leave some good residue on the fingers if you were to do one of these tests like I'm doing, and that just goes to show the level of sugar and other additives in here. The legs are very thin and fast as they trickle down, and in terms of depth, well, it does reflect the light quite nicely, but it's not overall deep. Then when it comes to the nose, very unctuous. It delivers notes of coconut, a little bit of wax and vanilla. The bouquet isn't overly rich, it's not intense. The diversity of notes is very simple. And again, in terms of complexity, there isn't much there. But then at the same time, is this really that kind of rum beverage? Well, we'll jump into the palate and find out a little bit more. So I'm working here off my notes. So every time I look down, it's not because I'm coming up with the notes that just popped into my head. I have already tried this neat, and it wouldn't be the way I'd recommend that you drink it, but we'll talk about cocktails and mixers later. So first of all, it opens with a very simple blast of coconut water, and then when you go into the heart, you're going to get a hint of that sweetness from simple syrup, and then once into the finish, you do get some vanilla essence towards the end. It's not at all complex, though the texture is very smooth, it's very youthful in flavour, there's no maturity whatsoever, no depth. It's quite balanced though, there's a very short finish, it doesn't last for very long on the palate. You do get a little bit of boozy coconut after a while, but that tends to dissipate quite soon. But it is also a very versatile drink. And we'll talk about how it can be used in a couple of minutes. But first I want to talk about the overall experience which goes into the presentation. So first of all, the distinctive label is unforgettable. I mean, once you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. You recognize it from the distance. When you're shopping in a convenience store, you'll see it from a distance and easily recognize it, which is a lot to be said for the product itself. In terms of cork quality, we're just looking at a simple screw top, which I am struggling to actually close properly. It's closed now. And it has the same palm tree logo on the lid. As for occasion, this is a very casual drink. I wouldn't really take this out to a black tie event or serve it to some dinner party guests unless they're going to have some cocktails, and then it could be perfectly adequate for your needs. As for the value for money, needless to say, it's going to be very good. It's not an expensive drink. I believe this is $21 in the USA, whereas I bought it in France and it was around €9, so about $10 as well. Then when it comes to cocktails, well, this is really what the drink is made for. It's made for simplifying the process of making a piña colada. Of course, it being quite low in alcohol, you're probably going to want to use a little bit more, or you could use it to take away some of the rough edges of a white rum. You could also simply use it as a mixer. In fact, I would say that is where this drink excels, is that if you add it to some pineapple juice or Coca-Cola, it's going to add a little bit of tropical booziness to that drink and make it quite easy to drink and quite pleasant, especially on a hot day. Otherwise, there are many other cocktails out there that have been imagined by very creative bartenders, one of which was a Malibu Sunset that I thought was quite interesting. It's a play on a tequila sunrise, and alternatively, you could just include it into a fruit punch to add that coconut twist. As for pairings, what's quite interesting is you can use Malibu for cooking, and it could be an interesting alternative to white rum for making a rum cake or even an añejo aged rum. It would add a more tropical flavor to it. You have the sweetness as well from the simple syrup, from the sugars, as well as that distinctive coconut flavor. Otherwise, it could accompany things like cream pies and lemon meringues. And if you're into cigars, why not have it with a pleasant Connecticut cigar? These are quite refreshing as well. They're quite creamy in texture. Two examples that immediately come to mind that I've written down here are the Nub Connecticut and the Brick House Double Connecticut by J.C. Newman. Whether you're having this as a mixer or if you want to have it neat, and it's perfectly drinkable, neat like this. It's very simple, but it's not unpleasant at all. Overall, Malibu is not really a drink that you're going to sip neat and savor and sample in this kind of scenario. Instead, it's going to be a very versatile drink that you're going to add to cocktails and add to mixers. If you go to a number of different rum forums, it's a drink that gets disparaged and poo-pooed a lot by some of the purists of rum, and needless to say, that's not at all what Malibu is trying to accomplish. And it's worth basically, rather than discarding it completely, keeping in mind what its purpose is and how it can benefit your drinks collection and your own cocktails. That's all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share on Malibu, and also any questions as well. Until our next video, head to bespokeunit.com to see all the lifestyle subjects that we cover, or you can head to bespokeunit.com/spirits to see all the liquors that we cover and the vast resource we have on that.